Hey guys, so we're out here in the Jeep for about the past couple months. My Jeep's check engine light has been coming on, and when I've checked it in the past, it always popped up with error code P0153, which is for faulty or issues with the oxygen sensors, and specifically, I think it's bank 2 sensor 1. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the code to see if it's reading. My check engine light's been like going off and coming back on, so we'll see if we can't show you guys the code. So if you're not familiar with reading codes on a Jeep, they have a built-in code reader. So all you have to do is turn the key to the on position and then back off 3 times and then back to the on position again. So we'll and then we'll wait for it to pop up, and that didn't work, so we'll do it again. Alright, we'll try it one last time to see if it'll pop up. We'll go with 5 this time. No, so my error code's still not, it's not popping up. Sometimes it pops up, sometimes it doesn't, but we're gonna go ahead and replace the oxygen sensors anyways. So to get the oxygen sensors off, they make a 3/8 inch offset sensor wrench. This one I got for about $8 at Harbor Freight. So it'll actually connect to a 3/8 inch drive ratchet. And if you're curious of what part numbers I'm using for my oxygen sensors, these are the part numbers here. One is cylinders 4 through 6 are bank 2 sensor 1, and the other sensor is cylinder 4 through 6, and it can either be used as a bank 2 sensor 2 or a cylinder 1 through 3 bank 1 sensor 1. So we're up under the driver's side of the Jeep, and you can see the 2 exhaust banks. And so this sensor right here is going to be our bank 2 sensor 2, and then that sensor up there is going to be our bank 2 sensor 1. So we're going to go ahead and knock off all of this mud that's currently on this exhaust, and then disconnect the electrical from the top side. So the electrical from the top side, here's the electrical connection for the bank 1 or bank 2 sensor 1, and then we'll have to trace the bank 2 sensor 2. But that should be how we remove this, is pushing down. And pulling the connector. There, it clicked back in. There we go. Alright, so that connector is free for bank 1. And then now for bank 2, we need to get all the way back in here. There we go. So that connector, you can see the little bit of yellow in there. That connector's now free. Okay, so this is gonna be a little bit hard to show you guys, but we can go ahead and slide the ratchet through, and then we gotta wait for it to lock on. Whoa. We locked on in a position where we can't actually take it off. So let me go ahead and set you guys down like that. Looks like that's a good angle. Now we just got to get the ratchet in. Okay, there we go. So that broke the sensor loose. And now this wrench doesn't want to come off, but we can just go ahead and spin the sensor out. Hope you guys can see what's going on. Let me see if I can position you guys a little bit better. Okay, there we go. And so we got our sensor. We can pull our connector down, and then we can just, might be easier to go from this direction. Finish just pulling our connector out. So here's the previous O2 sensor. Looks like there's a little bit of corrosion, but all in all, it doesn't look terrible. Let's go ahead and repeat the same process. Got the socket on. Oh, sorry for hitting you guys. And then we need to, there we go. So now that sensor is free as well. And once it's free, we can just start twisting it off by hand. It's a little bit of a reach. Alright, so there's our sensor 1 dangling right there. So we'll go from the top side to pull it out. There we go. So here's our bank 1 sensor 1. So when we take a look at these sensors, comparing them, we can see that, you know, the sensor 1 that wasn't the one that was giving us an error looks a lot closer to the normal one. Just looks like it has some soot on it, more or less, than the sensor 2 does. So this one probably is bad, which is why it's throwing us errors all the time. But we'll go ahead and install them in the same way that we removed them. We'll go ahead and thread the sensor in and then connect up the connector. These sensors come pre-threaded with anti-seize compound on them. Okay, so hopefully that's a good angle of the opening for sensor 1. So we're gonna go ahead and install the sensor 1 from below, but I'll leave you guys up top here so that way you guys can see from a better angle. So coming up and in, and then we're gonna hand thread the sensor. Goes on pretty nicely. And then we're going to slide our socket wrench up on to torque it down. And make sure we're nicely torqued. So then, rather than loop through and close, we're going to leave it kind of on the edge and slide and connect in. That slid in pretty well. Oh, having a little bit of trouble getting the threads to catch. There we go. And that guy threaded on nice and easily too. And then we'll go ahead and, oops. This is the hardest part, using a ratchet. Just making sure that nice and tight, but we're not trying to over tighten it. So now for the fun part of getting this wire back up. So we're just gonna fish it up to hopefully a place where we can get it to kind of stay. So here we go, I have the connector through now, and we just need to point it with the little squeeze tab and rotate that tab slightly. Push. And then give it a little tug, it's nice and tight. Let's go ahead and crank the engine and see if we get any issues. Alright. No check engine lights or anything. I'll try and go through a full tank and check back and let you guys know if there's any other issues. Thank you all for sticking around if you made it this far. Quick disclaimer, I do live in Florida where we don't have any emissions testing. So if you live in another state, just check and see if you need to do any sort of emissions testing after replacing O2 sensors. So I appreciate you guys sticking around. And please let me know down in the comments below what you guys thought of the video. And if you want to see more, please consider subscribing. Thanks, guys.